Welcome, everyone. Wow, that was great. Welcome, everyone, to the Rotary Club of York. I am your club president, Aaron Jacobs, and whether rain or shine, it's always a great day to be a Rotarian. And so now I am officially 8 months into this job, and I got to tell you, each week at this podium still gives me such a special sensation just to lead this fine organization. But I still have 4 months left to cherish the opportunity. Oh, but can you hold out as long as I can? But it's not about me today. It's about service above self. It's about our four-way test. And would you please join me? Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerns? Now, I confess that I did not have these pillars of Rotaries memorized 8 months ago, as I should have. But now that we are reminded of this weekly, it's helped me through some challenging circumstances and decisions. So I appreciate, and I hope you appreciate, having this as a part of our program every week. But now I want to get some outstanding true Rotarians to the stage to start the program. We're going to have Eric Chase do our visitor introductions. I'm sorry, Tony does the visitor introductions, invocation by Eric Chase, and for our opening song and pledge, a man who needs no introduction.
I'm Glenn Miller. Rotarians, please join me. In what song? All right, you guys ready?
Okay. It's God Bless America, if you would be technical, but do what you want.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sometimes it's like following Abbott and Costello. Sorry, this is supposed to be the serious time. If you'd prepare yourself in the way you're most accustomed to prayer, let us pray. Creator God, we celebrate all women this month and today. We honor them and give them thanks for the many things and roles that they serve in our community, in our world, in our club, and in our workplaces, and in our homes. We pray that you shower your blessings on all the women on the earth. Please bring wisdom and strength to everyone's life through your power. We are grateful for our speaker, AliceAnne, and her work with York Tec Centro, as she demonstrates how the issue of workforce development in York impacts the whole community, from individuals to businesses and organizations, and why we must work together to create opportunities for better employment. We thank you for this food and the hands that have prepared and serve it. May we use it to nourish our bodies so that we may continue to serve you. And we ask this all in the many names we call you. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm pleased to have the honor of introducing our guests for today's meeting. When I call your name, please stand and remain standing until President Aaron has welcomed you. Guests of youth leadership, Sierra Shupp, Julie Shupp, Darian Reimold, Dawn Reimold, Randy Reimold, Carrie Jones, Letice Brown, Matt Saylor, Tonya Wheeler, Steve Askling, Lee Anthony Ragusa. Sorry, those last three Leanne is the guest of Teresa Gregory. Antonia and Steve are the guests of Sarah White. Guest of Jen May is Lydia Jones. Jose Serrano is the guest of our speaker. Carlos Grupera is the guest of our speaker. Kevin Eck is the guest of our speaker. And Jason McSherry is the guest of Bobby Ann DeLeo. Cora Taylor is the guest of Andy Rawitz. And Dan Burns is the guest of our speaker. What's her name?
So by now, most of our members and returning guests know what I call guest math. But today there is a twist, and here's how it goes. If this is your first time visiting the club, welcome. We're glad to see you. If it's the second time you've been to our club, welcome back. And if it's your third time, it's time to make you a member. But here's the twist. Latice, raise your hand. Now, Latice has been here more than 3 times, and she has submitted her member application. Matt, raise your hand. Up until 2 weeks ago, I never knew Matt. Matt never knew this club until one day I shot him an email and showed up in his office with only 3 words. It was not service above self. It was join or else. So he submitted his application before ever being a member. Now, you may question my motives. You may call it coercions, but the ends justify the means. Nonetheless, we're glad that you all have joined us today. We hope to see you again. Let us welcome our guests. Thanks, guys. We have a few announcements here this morning. See if that helps. The PPE committee will meet next week, the 13th via Zoom. And here's a quick follow-up from a presentation we had from Philip Given at the Pretzel Company. He was supposed to bring us pretzels that day. It did not work out because of the snow. So in lieu of that, he is offering our members only an exclusive 40% discount code, a code that is a one-time use per customer, and it's valid only until the end of the month. The pretzels will be shipped directly to your door for you and your family to enjoy. So how many of you read the announcer every week in the email? How many will read it this coming week? Because that's where the code will be. So keep an eye out for that. As mentioned in our prayer this morning, we acknowledge and celebrate National Women's Day today. It's a time to honor the incredible contributions of women to society. From nurturing families to leading nations, women have shaped history with their strength, compassion, and resilience. Let us recognize their achievement both in Rotary and in every field, their unwavering determination and their endless capacity for their kindness. As we reflect on the progress made towards gender equality, let us also acknowledge the work that remains. Together, we can continue to empower women, amplify their voices, and create a world where every woman can thrive. And I would let you know, okay, that works for me. For the women who have joined us at the program today, we would invite you to the podium afterwards for a photograph. And beyond that, happy Women's Day to remarkable women who inspire us daily. And now I'd like to invite Tony Schweitzer back to the podium to do an announcement for Direct People of Action Project. Tony.
Thank you, President Aaron. How many of you like to help people move when they have a new house? No takers. How many of you like to have to find people to help you move when you got a new house? The Bell Socialization Services, Bell Family Shelter is moving. We have a new home. It is going to be in the former Red Cross building, which was located at 724 South George Street. So we are looking just for a little bit of help through the combined efforts of all the Rotary clubs in our district. We are looking to unpack and assemble beds that we have ordered and that have been received at the facility that'll be used by families during their stay with us. We are planning to be open in early April. The details of the project are on Friday, March 22nd. and Saturday, March 23rd from 8 to 11 at 724 South George Street. You can participate by signing up using the link that'll be found in the announcer. And you can sign up for an hour and a half or a 3-hour shift or both if you're really ambitious. It is not, I promise you, super difficult to do. If you don't help, I will probably be doing a lot of it. So I hope that you are willing to do so. If you do have any questions, either please feel free to reach out to me or connect with us through the link in the announcer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. I'm going to embellish a little bit about this project. There's a background on this. For those of you who don't know, and most of you don't, on a regular basis, myself and other Rotary Club presidents from our area get together and kind of brainstorm, talk about ideas. And the one thing we really wanted to do was start to create service projects that our clubs could do together. And this is the first of those projects we've come up with through, this is the Rotary East Club, Rotary North, Rotary Uptown, Rotary Dallastown, Southern. These are all of our clubs coming together to do this. This is a great service opportunity, and I want to support our city, I want to support our district, and I really want to support Tony and his organization. So please take the time to sign up for that. And now I'm going to the President's Challenge. And this will be Bill Hartman with the Rotary Foundation. And this is a time where we get to highlight our club so that we can inform, promote, solicit, and recruit members to the service for our committees. The man I'm excited to invite right here is the one who coined the term for this club, Outstanding True Rotarian, which is a term he will likely use in his next 2 minutes to talk. So let us welcome an outstanding true Rotarian, Bill Hartman.
Thank you very much, President Aaron. Actually, I was promised at least 3 minutes and 8 seconds, so I will tend to use that. It is really my pleasure today to have the opportunity to talk about the role and purpose of the Rotary Foundation Committee. And if we could go to the first slide, please. We don't have a slide mover here. Oh, okay, good. Well, okay. Okay. This does not count against my 8 seconds. Okay. Okay, this slide shows what we do. We raise money for worthy causes around the world and in central Pennsylvania. And it shows, this slide shows how it works. When you donate money to the Rotary Foundation, it's invested for 3 years. Then half of it goes to address global focus areas of Rotary International. The other half of it comes back to central Pennsylvania and is available for us and other Rotary chapters in our district. As a good example of how that's worked for our Rotary Club, Kiwanis Lake, Trees for the Trail, and America's Promise were all partially funded by contributions you made to the Rotary Foundation. In addition, Jane Conover's Sandolphy Sanitation Project is receiving a large grant from the district to add value to that project. So this is very relevant. Giving to the foundation is not just relevant to the world order and the world focus, it's also very relevant to central Pennsylvania. Now, the committee, if we could have the next slide. The committee serves 3 purposes. First of all, it supports and promotes the Rotary Foundation. Second of all, it advises me on key points to make during presentations. And thirdly, it helps us structure promotions to stimulate giving to the foundation. As an example, the project Step Up was structured based on input from the committee, Executive Director Lynn, and President Aaron. It was an enormous success. Project Step Up was an enormous success. We are very much looking forward to celebrating that with you later in our agenda of meetings. And that's going to be after we get all the results tabulated and we get all our recognition materials. Now, as Aaron said, I love the phrase outstanding true Rotarian. And this committee is stacked with outstanding true Rotarians. We have multiple past district governors. We have multiple past club presidents. We have multiple past committee chairs of the Rotary Foundation. We have multiple major donors, and we have multiple Paul Harris Society members, and we have multiples of those multiples. So this is a star-studded group, and it's really an honor for me to be associated with them. And those of you who are here, would you stand up now, members of the Rotary Foundation Committee? Don't be shy. Thank you. This is a great committee. Every year we raise more money than we did before. And President Aaron has been very clear that he wants this year to be the greatest year the Rotary Foundation Committee has ever had. And he has succeeded in that. But if my instincts are...
They didn't clap for that.
However, Aaron, before you rest on your laurels, if my instincts are correct, I believe that next year, President-elect Courtney will be coming for you.
Bring it on.
Now, if you would like to join the committee, we'd love to have you. We can't compete with a marketing committee because we don't serve alcohol at our meetings. That's because we meet by Zoom. But you are more than happy to have as much alcohol as you would like. We're the perfect committee to join if you don't like meetings, because we don't like meetings. We don't meet very often. We meet only once or twice a year, and it's a great group of people to be associated with. So most of all, I just want to thank all of you for your very generous support of the Rotary Foundation, because that is why we're able to increase our contributions to Rotary International every year. Thank you very much.
Great job, committee. Keep up the good work. We're going to set the bar high for Courtney. Good luck. Speaking of setting the bar high, I'd like to invite past President Josh George to the podium to induct our new members. Past President Josh.
Thank you, President Aaron, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, Rotarians and guests. As always, it's my pleasure to introduce you to 3 new members to our club. And being International Women's Day, we will certainly start with Kathy Dempsey. So Kathy is a graduate of Red Lion High School and went on to study education at Penn State York. She is a financial advisor with Primerica Financial Services. Her hobbies and activities include she is a member of the Women's Club of York, a past board member of the Christian School of York. She served as a youth leader at the Abundant Life Church and is actually a former EMT for Red Lion Ambulance Club. Her hobbies are photography, and her husband is Joseph. If you have a young child, Joe is a pediatrician at WellSpan, so you may have had your kids see him over the years. They are the parents of 2 boys, Daniel, who is 16, and Luke, who is 12. And she is proposed for membership in our club by Jeff Lobach. Ladies and gentlemen, Kathy Dempsey. And next we have 2 Michaels. And interestingly enough, both of these Michaels were proposed by Michaels. What are the odds? So we'll start with Michael DeJulia on the end, and we'll go in alphabetical order here. Michael is a graduate of Lawrenceburg High School in Indiana, and he went on to Northern Kentucky University, where he studied criminal justice. He is the brand new general manager at the Yorktown Hotel. So please spend the night or spend the afternoon at the bar. He will be happy to take your money from you if you spend time with him at the Yorktown Hotel. He is a past board member of Northampton Community College. He has served on the Poconos Visitors Bureau, and he's been a facilitator for East Stroudsburg University's hospitality program. His hobbies include fitness, hiking, spending time outdoors, and spending time with his pets. And he is married to Michelle. He is proposed for membership in our club by Michael Haiti. Michael DeJulia, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. And our other Michael today is Michael Roscoe. Michael is a graduate of William Penn High School, and he went on to the United States Marine Corps, where he was honorably discharged in 2007. He is employed by Low Bar Associates, where he serves in multiple roles. He's a project superintendent. He's their manager of their concrete sawing division, and he also serves in a business development role. His hobbies and community service include he's a board member of the Valley Youth House. He's a board member of the M28 Ministry, and he's a founder of Rite of Passage and a volunteer coach for Cedar Cliff Midget Football. His hobbies include camping, skiing, pickleball, hiking, and mountain biking. And he is married to Jennifer. They are the parents of 4 children: Jaden, who is 20, Jasmine, who is 19 and currently is at West Point, Mariah, who is 19, and DJ, the boy, who is 17. He is proposed for membership by Michael Black. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Roscoe.
A little program rewind here for a moment. When I did guest introductions, I said about making you become members. I'm going to pick on Kathy over here to my right, who 2 months ago came here as a Student of the Month parent. Why am I looking at this table over here? Gee, I don't know. Because when I say you should join Rotary, they're sitting there saying, surely the president doesn't mean me. Surely I do. In any event, a heartfelt welcome to the new members. Your dedication to service strengthens our club's mission, and together we embark on this journey of impact and camaraderie, enriching lives in our community and beyond. We expect your unique perspectives and talents will enhance our collective efforts. Here's to building lasting friendships, making a positive difference, and embodying the spirit of Rotary. Welcome to our vibrant family of service. I'd now like to invite Kevin Apnell to the stage for Student of the Month. Kevin.
All right. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. It's my honor to introduce you to the 2 Students of the Month representing the Bulldogs of West York Area High School. I just want to let you know I have warned both students not to try and match President Aaron's energy. We cannot afford a new set. We don't need those ambulance trips anymore, so we're going to just tell them to keep it calm today. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to them one at a time and tell you a little bit about their activities and achievements while they've been challenged to discuss something that had an impact on their lives. So first, we're going to welcome Sierra. I'll tell you a little bit about her, turn the podium over, and then I'll come and then introduce our second speaker. So first Student of the Month you'll hear from is Sierra Shupp. Sierra is an 11th grader at West York Area High School. She's the daughter of Julie and Mark Shupp, and she's on West York's Link Crew, the National Honor Society, and is also in the Biomedical Honors Club. All right. Throughout her academic career, Sierra has received a musical award in middle school. She's been recognized on the Distinguished Honor Roll since 8th grade and counting. She has received the Patriots Pen Award from her local VFW, and she took part in the White Coat ceremony, and she is in the top 5 in her class rank. When Sierra isn't working on her academic pursuits, she enjoys watching movies and just relaxing. Good lesson there. Just relax. All right. So after high school, she plans to pursue studies in the medical field, and she is currently weighing a career track either as an LPN or ultrasound technician or something in the pediatric field. So, Rotarians, if you could please help me welcome Sierra Shupp.
Sorry.
That was a back.
No, it's good. It's good. I am unique in a universe full of lives, yet I am not unique in the experience of earning a driver's license. I believe this experience not only impacted my present, but indirectly impacted my future. Succeeding in the feat of earning my license was something more to me than being able to drive around whenever I pleased. It was a symbol of my independence and confidence in my abilities. Ever since I can remember, I have been a devout overthinker, and this is not a trait that is allowed to be expressed while driving. While I'm very cautious behind the wheel and a good driver, I have had to learn how to trust my instincts and rely solely on myself. I believe that the step of earning my license in a car has allowed me to depend on my mind, hands, and heart. I quite literally drove myself outside of my comfort zone by adventuring out into the highways and allowing myself to accept any mistakes because I was learning. I did not allow my anxiety and fear of making a mistake hold me back from experiencing my teenage years to the fullest. Besides my newfound confidence and decisiveness, earning a license and car improved my financial literacy. I come from a family where we work hard for our money and achievements. My mom worked very hard for me to earn a car, and this fact has made me very aware of the financial responsibility I hold each time I sit in the driver's seat of a vehicle. My car provides me with a glimpse into the slightly scary but beautiful part of the future. I am an independent creature in this world, but I am not alone and I am not scared to think for myself. Driving myself outside of my comfort zone was one of the best things I've ever done, and I'm so glad that I forced myself to do so. Therefore, while this may have been an unquestionable part of many of your futures, this was a pivotal step in mine. Thank you.
Good. Either side, it's up to you. All right, next up, our next student of the month from West York is Darian Reimel. Darian is also an 11th grader, and he's the son of Dawn and Randy Reimel. Darian's very active in his school community, participating in the Hope Club, the Tech Club, Quiz Bowl, Chess Club, Link Crew, Model UN, National Honor Society, Jazz Band, the Bulldog Pantry, and there's more musical contributions here, marching band, symphonic band, pit band, and he serves on the band executive committee. Darian is also in the top 5 of his class rank and received the Freshman Band Spirit Award and has been on the Distinguished Honor Roll twice thus far. In his free time, Darian enjoys making videos and music, writing poetry, and he's a proclaimed history and war buff. After high school, Darian's hoping to get into film direction and production or TV production. So, Rotarians, if you could, please help me welcome Darian Reimel.
Nearly 2 months ago, my grandfather, Thomas Schultz, passed away. Since then, I have had much time to reflect on his life and our time together. Looking back, I can see everything that he has taught me, whether that be by joking around or being grumpy in his almost funny way. My grandfather was a man mainly confined to his wheelchair, but he certainly had his wits about him. He was sharp as a tack and was the man to teach me to play chess. Many rounds went by with me losing over and over. But I started to gradually develop my own strategy, growing strong at the game, to where I was winning round after round, with only the occasional slip to him. This game is a game taught by lesson. You learn problem solving and strategy, and you have to be quick on your feet in case anything goes awry. It showed me that no matter what happens, good or bad, there's always a new round or a new day to start. He was also a huge fan of Uno. We loved to play Uno. And round after round, of course, my mother and I would be left with hundreds of points of cards. But in the end, even though I had lost, I still had a smile on my face from all the jokes he had told and all the laughs he had given us. This was a lesson to look on the bright side no matter what. Things will go bad in the world, but you always have to find the goodness in any situation. One of his favorite pastimes was making flowers out of water bottles and little cartoon characters out of corn cobs. An exceptional idea that I would have never thought of. And these creations in and of themselves are lessons, ones that you can create and mold the world into anything that you want, that no matter where you look, there's always something that you can change. His passing opened my eyes to all these things that he had taught me along my life, all these little things that I had never quite caught on to. He had a significant impact on my life, no matter how you look at it. And his passing truly showed me that life won't stop for me, that time won't stop for me, and that I need to cherish the things that I have now. Life is short, and I need to live in the present. Thank you.
Wow. Heartfelt congratulations to each of you for being named Student of the Month. Your achievements reflect not only your academic prowess, but also your embodiment of Rotary's motto, service above self. Your dedication to excellence and your willingness to serve others exemplify the values that we hold dear. Keep shining your light bright and making a positive impact in the community. We're proud of you and excited to see how you'll continue to embody the spirit of the service you do for everyone involved. Well done. And now I'd like to invite Rotarian Elaine Bonneau to the podium to introduce today's program. Elaine.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and happy Women's History Month and Women's International Day, which makes this even more special to be doing this introduction. It is my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, AliceAnne Frost. She's the Executive Director of York Community Resource Center, also known as York Tec Centro. And I have the privilege of serving on the board of directors under the leadership of Dr. Jose Serrano, who's here with us today in the room. Also, fellow board members here today, Dan Burns and Commissioner Michael Muldrow. So happy to see you here. And thank you to Carlos Guapera, who's representing Tec Centro Workforce Network here today. So thank you all for joining us. York Tec Centro is part of the Tec Centro Workforce Network, and it's currently made up of locations across central Pennsylvania: Berks, Lancaster, Lebanon, York, and soon to be Dauphin counties. And it is the primary provider of bilingual education and skills training. The collective goal of the network is to establish community-based bilingual workforce centers to serve populations that are disproportionately disadvantaged. And some of you may know that third-class cities like York have a heavy concentration of residents who are facing barriers related to bilingual adult basic education, skills training, and job placement. So working proactively, the network addresses and breaks down these barriers so that we can provide tools and opportunities for upward economic mobility for residents in York County. From the new location on 800 East Market Street, it's a former M&T Bank branch. I know many of you were at the groundbreaking for the new location. The organization provides adult education, classes, career programs that are focused on educating and training adults in-demand careers so that they can pursue better wages, better benefits, just a better way of life here in York County. So a little bit more about our speaker, AliceAnne. I have had the privilege of knowing and working with AliceAnne for several years. We worked together during my time at Downtown Inc. and YCEA, when at that time AliceAnne served as the CEO of the program It's About Change. It's an organization based in Harrisburg, committed to providing resources for ex-offenders reentering in our community. And in 2019, AliceAnne was instrumental in bringing those resources here to York County, Pennsylvania. AliceAnne is a graduate of York College of Pennsylvania and has a bachelor's of science in accounting and is a former public accountant. She is, this is a long list, a board member and finance committee member for Keystone Kid Space, finance committee member of Affordable Housing Advocates and the White Rose Leadership Institute, board member of Life Changing Pathways. She's a graduate of Leadership York, class of 2019. My class, and currently a York Federal Fellow. And we've enjoyed hearing about her time with the York Federal Fellows this year. And I think I dare to say probably something that she's most proud of. She's a wife and mom of a brilliant and energetic, beautiful 5-year-old named Aubrey, who we also talk about at our board meetings and her antics. So when AliceAnne was selected as the first executive director of the York Community Resource Center in 2023, I knew she was the perfect choice. She's a visionary, she's a strategic thinker, and she's a doer. When our board presents strategic direction, she's already 3 steps ahead of us. She truly has a heart for York and a commitment to helping York Countyans thrive. And now more than ever, accessible, affordable workforce training is the cornerstone of addressing poverty, underemployment, unemployment in our community here and really across our region. So with that, Rotarians, please join me in welcoming today's speaker, AliceAnne Frost.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Elaine, for those kind words. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Rotarians, for having me here today and allowing me to speak about York Tec Centro. So to give you some history, a little brief history of York Tec Centro, we were established in 2022 by a diverse group of business leaders, community advocates, nonprofit leaders in the philanthropic community with a desire to address the unemployment and underemployment in our community. And we knew that the way to address this was really through job skills training and workforce development. We were privileged and then honored to meet Carlos Grappera from the Spanish American Civic Association, SACA, in Lancaster, who had an already thriving and proven model Tec Centro providing job training in Lancaster. So through that work, we also knew that the way to pull this off was we were going to need a location. Where were we going to provide these services? And you can, next slide. And that's when we were donated a building from a former bank branch from M&T. So I just want to first and foremost give a huge thank you to M&T for that donation. Through that donation, it's really helped catapult us and get us to where we are today. So thank you, M&T. I don't know if there's anyone from M&T in the room, but again, thank you. And you can go to the next slide. So as I had said, really this model was a proven model that was Tec Centro, was developed by SACA in Lancaster, had been around for over 10 years. SACA had been in existence for about 50, but really the model was, it's three components. Component one is really the adult basic education, where it's GED, ESL, and employment services, and then occupational training, which would be your allied health training, job training with CNA, phlebotomy, dental assistant, and then your trades, which would consist of commercial industrial plumbing, industrial electrical technology, and commercial HVAC refrigeration, to name a few. All of these occupations are in high demand in our community and provide high quality jobs to formerly unemployed and underemployed members of the community. One unique thing too about the Tec Centro model is it's really open and available to anybody that wants to walk through the doors. So if you're 18 and older and you have a desire to be trained, you can come to Tec Centro. The organization underwrites all the cost of the education, which is about $6,000 per person. And we really do that through corporate giving, philanthropic organizations, and other funding sources. Participants also pay a modest fee, $100 at most, at best. And that's what makes some of this model a unique model, but it's also proven. It's highly successful in Lancaster and also throughout other third-class cities in the state of Pennsylvania. And you can go to the next slide. So the impact, who we focus on. We focus on not just those that are unemployed, but those that are underemployed. So we hear a lot about, especially in the nonprofit world, in the United Way speaks a lot about this, our ALICE population. That population of individuals who are working potentially part-time in jobs that are not paying too well. So we are focused on those that are underemployed, who need skills and can fill industries that are hurting for a skilled labor force. These folks are able to then gain full-time employment and really a wage that gives them a pathway out of poverty and a way into a successful future. It's also what we consider like an economic stimulus for our community. And I say that in the sense that it's really, when we're especially looking at it from a healthcare perspective, and our board president, Dr. Serrano, really reminds us of this quite often, that economic viability is really a social determinant of health. And we know that good paying jobs lead to healthier communities and better opportunities for families and all those also involved. Also, by training a skilled workforce, we are meeting local labor demands. Many of you that work in industries, specifically maybe healthcare or construction, we all know that those industries are in need of a skilled workforce. Tec Centro really provides that pathway and gives the ability to really fill those gaps that are definitely needed within those industries. You can go to the next slide. So I get asked this question all the time. I give this presentation quite a bit. And I'm always asked, what makes us different? What makes us different from YTI or other groups out there? And really what makes us different is Tec Centro, the model, it's social services meets technical training. And what I mean by that is we are bringing individuals in who are being trained in high demand careers, giving them a skill set, giving them that pathway out of poverty, but also social services are available. So they are met with case managers. We can meet barriers that they may face, and it's all to ensure that individuals are able to complete the programming and have their best pathway to success. Also, we're neighborhood based. We're right in the community. As we spoke about the M&T Bank branch, that's at 800 East Market Street. We are in the heart of York City. We are on the bus line. We're accessible. And that's all the other models throughout the state of Pennsylvania as well. There are community-based organizations. Lancaster is in the heart of Lancaster, both of their locations, as well as Berks, as well as Lebanon and Dauphin. And community partnerships. I think this is the most important one out of all of them. We thrive based off of our community partnerships. So we have educational partners that will help us provide that technical training, such as HACC in Lancaster. That's Thaddeus Stevens College, hoping to partner with local partners as well. Here, we've been in discussions with the Literacy Council, how we can partner with them. We're not duplicating services, but we're enhancing services in the community and making them more available for participants. Okay, the plan. What was our plan? How were we going to pull this off? And you can go to the next slide. So really, our plan was in a couple phases. We were going to do this in phase 1, 2, and 3. So our phase 1, which we're currently in right now in construction, was demolition, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, MEPs, executive director with an accounting degree. I never thought I would learn so much about MEPs and plumbing issues, but I have. So newfound skill set. Any plumbers in here? I'm willing to, try my hand at it. Excavation and installation of new bathrooms. So none of the maybe fun stuff, but all the necessary things to get the building ready. And so that's what we're currently working on and going through right now. Then our phase 2 is going to be our main level, and that's our employment services and our adult basic education and GED. That's the phase to open the doors. So we're going to be sliding right into that phase and hopefully opening those doors by late fall of this year. And then phase 3 is our lower level and our allied health. So again, CNA, phlebotomy, dental assistant, medical assistant. You can go to the next slide. So here's just some pictures, some renderings of the building of what it will look like when we are done. Again, the former bank branch, but the outside will say Tec Centro, powered by M&T, Tec Centro on the other side. And then you can go to the next slide. And that's what the inside of the building will look like. We will have a front desk reception area where people will walk in and be met by a receptionist and be able to meet with the case manager and employment services. And then we will have various classrooms throughout to allow for the GED, ESL classes, and our other allied health classes. Our rooms will be able to be converted and be able to take participants no matter what time of day, or we're going to make sure that we're available day and evening as well. And just some more drawings, renderings, kind of give you a picture overview. If you ever have a chance, would love to have everybody in there to kind of see what it's going to look like. It was a former bank branch, so we were able to tear down a lot of the stuff that was in there before. And as I said, the employment desk will be in there, and that'll be on site for residents and making sure that we're accessible to all in the neighborhood. And then you can go to the next slide. And another picture of our lower level that'll have our CNA classes and our medical assistant classes. You can keep going through them. These are just some drawings. So talking about our accomplishments, what have we done so far since 2022? And you can go to the next one. As I had said, we had a donated building. We have secured our funding for our operations. Thanks to the state, we have a state line item budget that will take care of our staff and our overhead. And our learning labs and classroom equipment, the funding for that has been secured. And that is really thanks to the County of York through the district attorney's office and First Energy for their donation as well. And what also has made this possible and gotten us to this point is our support from our key stakeholders in York. And those have been, which some of you are probably very familiar with, Powder Mill Foundation, Wareheim Foundation, Gladfelter Foundation, Wellspan Health, Traditions Bank, UPMC, and of course, M&T Bank. And you could go to the next one. So here's the fun part, the part that I was waiting to share with everyone, and I think some pretty cool pictures here are some construction updates. So construction has been provided by Royal Square Development, and they have started. And for those that were at the groundbreaking, probably remember what it looked like beforehand with the teller desks and all the wood. And I see Eric back there smiling because yeah, it looks totally different than it did before. We have completely pulled everything out and demoed everything. I actually got to swing a hammer at some point as well and knock down a couple things. So that was, again, you know, all other duties is assigned as executive director. And that's their exterior. And the cool thing about that is that's what it looked like before we started putting in the bathrooms. And you could go to the next slide. And so there we started digging to get ready for these bathrooms. So these bathrooms are actually going to go the whole way from the basement all the way to the third floor. Really proud of them because this was a task to completely build out brand new bathrooms, get the plumbing going, and really make this thing moving forward. And then you could go to the next slide. Here are my guys, the guys from Royal Square pouring the cement on there, in there, getting the cement poured in and ready to go. And we were putting up walls probably the next day or a couple days after. And so we're really moving along. So also the other thing is that I get a lot of the questions on how do we help, right? How do we help out with what we're doing? And you can go to the next slide. So really our success truly depends on all of you, everyone in this room or people within your network. And I mean that by active engagement from community members. That's really what helped us get started and has helped keep us going was different community members, regardless of background, who are willing to be active participants. So that means come tour the building, come see what we're doing. We also invite you to Lancaster to really see Tec Centro in action and to see what's to come in York. One thing I didn't mention is at the building right now, we are at the M&T building. We have our first two phases, which is the adult basic education and allied health. The other component that I had mentioned is trades. We are actively and currently trying to figure out how we're going to get that second location and make sure that we also have that trades portion of the Tec Centro model. And those are really the three portions that round out Tec Centro. So, and it's also, that means by, you know, your help is meet with me, meet with the executive director, or meet with our board members. Meeting with us, we can help you understand what we need and how we can make this happen. Renovations for this facility at the M&T building are going to cost about $2.1 million. We're pretty much there through our fundraising goal, but we are still currently fundraising, and that's through philanthropic contributions or what's called the Neighborhood Assistance Program through businesses and tax credits as well. You can do the next one. So before I conclude, and I do have some concluding remarks, I do want to thank our board of directors and our steering committee. They're listed here. We wouldn't be where we're at without their active engagement. And that's Dr. Jose Serrano, Mr. Ben Jackson, Elaine Bonneau, Hans Abishan, Sandra Harrison, Commissioner Michael Muldrow, Dan Burns, and Diana Escalante. It's really through their hard work and their support that makes it possible for me to stand here and for us to continue to move forward. What I wanted to conclude with, as I was thinking about what I wanted to leave all of you with, because I know this is a lot of information to present in 20 minutes, right? And what are my parting words and best things that I can leave you with? So I wrote some thoughts down, and what I want to leave you with in food for thought as you sit around this room is that as our economy continues its rebounds from the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and We know that employers have need to be able to attract, retain, and train and elevate talented employees. That need will remain paramount to a successful community and economy in York. The need to increase workforce training and skills development for workers in York, it's vital to ensure that individuals that are unemployed and underemployed can obtain family-sustaining jobs that offer livable wages and benefits. The opening of a location in York, it's also critical to helping our local employers meet their needs and their demands, which helps to sustain their businesses and contributes to a productivity to the economy and vitality of our region. So those are just my parting words, and I think are really important as we sit around the room and we say, well, how can I help? Or why is workforce development important? And I think that's the question to ask yourself is, why is this important to me? How can I help as well? So again, I want to, and you can go to the next slide. I believe that is the thank you for listening to our presentation and having me here today. And if you do want to learn more, I'll be around afterwards with my business cards and can share more information. Thank you.
Is it on? Hi, AliceAnne.
Hi, Megan.
Hi. Given that you have such a successful model of this working in Lancaster with some years behind them, can you talk a little bit more maybe about like the impact that we have to look forward to? And I know you mentioned sort of the impact to the entire community. Maybe give us a taste of what's in store.
Sure, thank you. That's a really good question. So of what's in store is we are going to be really, as I had said before, training individuals for jobs that are in demand, jobs that have shortages, whether it's within the healthcare system or our construction, within construction companies, but a skilled labor force, giving individuals not just an ability to get in a job, but an ability to grow a career and have full-time employment and have things that many of us probably take for granted, which is PTO, healthcare benefits, and by giving them that sustainable wage and that wage that's well above the minimum wage, you're giving people a true pathway out of poverty and giving them the ability to be self-sufficient. So we really have to look forward to what we have to look forward here in York is that training facility, a thriving training facility that's community-based, able to help our community meet those needs.
Sounds really exciting. When do you expect to start your programs? How long will they be? And what sort of credential will the graduates have?
Thank you. Really good question. So if all goes as planned, we will open doors by fall of this year. And that is part of our phase 1, where we will be able to provide adult basic education. So that's your GED, ESL, English as a second language, and employment services. We hope to open our phase 2, which is the allied health, which is CNA, phlebotomy, dental assistant, medical assistant by early 2025. And the credentials that one would have is like for a CNA, they will have a certificate making them a certified nurse's aide. And that's actually credentialed through the state. And same with the other allied health, they're all credentialed and licensed. So one is able to, you're not just getting a credential, but able to actually join the workforce immediately. And that's also part of the model as well, is partnering with local employers to ensure that our participants are able to obtain a job probably before they actually graduate. Did I answer all of your question? I know it was a multi-part question. Good. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Hi, AliceAnne.
Hi, Jessica.
So you started sort of answering my question, but can you go into a little more detail about how you're building relationships with industry and employers, you know, what that sort of connection is to help the folks that you train in your programs actually find long-term employment? You have a really impressive board. Is there also like an advisory board of employers, or like what does that relationship look like?
Thank you, Jess. Really also another great question. So starting at the beginning, and I'll get into the employers, what we're doing on the community end, like I said, we're partnering with the Literacy Council. So one way that we're partnering with local nonprofits is if a service is already being offered, say in the community, but they have a wait list and people can't get to those classes, we're working to kind of figure out what that will look like so that we're not duplicating efforts. But we are also working to form an advisory committee, and you're spot on with this question, of local employers that want to invest in the future of York. So meaning that they know that there's a shortage, they know that they need that they need skilled workers and want to know how they can be active and proactive in that training. It also gives them kind of a firsthand ability that when participants are graduating or trained, that they can meet with those employers. So we'll do that through making sure that students are, once they're trained, meeting with those employers. And that's just relationship building and making sure that people know about what we're doing. So I'm trying to create a lot of awareness about what we're doing so that employers know that they can come to us and that we will have skilled workers. Thank you.
As you look at the other Tec Centro centers, what would a composite applicant look like?
You mean as far as someone that is
Who would be coming in through the doors to try to see if they could benefit from getting involved?
So what an applicant looks like is anyone that is 18 and older and has the willingness or wants to be trained in a new career. We don't have a high, like a major or a criteria that says if you don't check all these boxes, you can't be trained. So someone is really someone that may be working a part-time job or is working a job that is only paying minimum wage, doesn't have healthcare benefits, and is really looking to get trained in a much higher paying job and making it full-time and is looking for a career. They're your adult learner. I would say most of our population is probably within their late 20s, mid 30s, early 40s, and need that change. And now is the time. And what's so nice is all of the fees are, it's all underwritten by the center. So we're not asking them to go into more debt or, making sure that there's flexibility in our schedule so that they can work full time. So that's really, if you're looking at that profile, is that adult learner needs to find a higher paying full-time job and and wants to be trained.
Wow. Thank you, Alice, for an enlightening presentation. There is no doubt that what Tec Centro offers is both elemental and urgent. And more importantly, you and your team are delivering it with passion, which equals service above self. I'm confident that what you are doing will help the community and will improve lives. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. And book time. In honor of the program today, Alice has signed the book platelet, A Testament of Hope by Martin Luther King Jr., and it will be donated to the West York High School, along with a bookmark made by students at Creative York. Before we wrap up, a quick reminder to the women who have joined us today to join us at the podium at the end for a photograph. Not done yet, though, because if you thought this was a great program, and it was, here's what we have for next week. Next week, we will hear from Steve Shank, the president and CEO of Flinchball Engineering. Steve will be sharing his company's story of success starting in 1978 by two prominent local families, the Meckleys and the Flinchballs, producing engineered products for a new Caterpillar tractor, which has now blossomed into an amazing 100% employee-owned company serving over 40 customers with $70 million in revenue, 250 employees, and a 200,000 square foot manufacturing space right here in York County. It promises to be a great story, so be sure not to miss next week's program. Having said that, have an amazing Rotarian week. This meeting is adjourned.